Today I want to give you a quick update on the current state of play with the Fontan Registry and briefly want to touch on the registry numbers and current research projects, which some of the speakers will discuss in more detail. It's now 46 years since the first Fontan operation was performed. The Australian and New Zealand Fontan Registry was established in 2009 and involves support from all the major paediatric and adult cardiac centres across Australia and New Zealand. We now have over 1,500 participants on the registry who have had the Fontan operation, making this, like Fiona mentioned, the largest database of its kind in the world. Through the Fontan Registry, we collect health information on all the participants. For example, this includes all the information from their operations as well as ongoing healthcare visits with their cardiologists, and we use this information in our research to analyse health outcomes. Overall, we want to identify which aspects of patients' care can be fine-tuned so that we can enhance the quality of life for everyone living with a Fontan circulation. Now, as we know, often the doctors use big words, and to that end, we've prepared a little resource which some of you might have grabbed at the front as a quick guide to familiarise yourself again with some of the terminology, and on the back there's some imaging as well. So our Fontan Registry annual report will be available on our website soon, and some of the numbers that I'm touching on today are from that report. The Fontan Registry website is also a great place to keep track of all things registry related, and I would encourage you to visit it for resources like videos from previous education years, which we put on that site. Our Fontan Facebook page is also a great place to keep in touch with the Fontan community and to stay up to date with the latest information. Before I update you on the registry numbers, can you join me in congratulating our founder-in-chief, Professor Eve Dudekim. But wait, let me tell you why. Eve has been awarded the most prestigious research award from the Cardiac Society of Australia and New Zealand, the RT Hall Prize, and this is for his work on the Australian and New Zealand Fontan Registry. Furthermore, Eve was also the recipient of HeartKids' first Roll of Honour Award, which recognises his outstanding contribution to the field of congenital heart disease research. We want to congratulate Eve on receiving these awards, which recognises his vision and determination to improve the lives of people with a Fontan circulation. Can you again join me in congratulating Eve for these wonderful achievements? Now let's look at the registry numbers. As of 2016, we have a total of just over 1,500 Australian and New Zealand Fontan Registry participants. This graph shows the number of Fontan operations performed in Australia and New Zealand each year, 52 new Fontans in 2016, and an average of 62 completed per year over the last 10 years. The current average age at which the Fontan operation is performed in Australia and New Zealand is about 5.5 years, and that ranges from 1 to 40 years. And this graph gives you an indication of the current age spread in our registry, which ranges from 2 to 69 years. The current average age of registry participants is 18, and this is set to increase to an average age of 21 by 2025 and an average age of 26 by 2035. There's also a predicted increase in the size of the Fontan population, as shown here in a projection that was done till 2035, with the size of the Fontan population set to double in this period. Survival after the Fontan operation is much better than what was previously thought, and the sudden drop that people had predicted has not happened. We have in previous years received funding from the National Health and Medical Research Council to conduct research into various aspects relating to health and well-being outcomes for people living with a Fontan. The liver and renal project examined liver and kidney function, and that is now complete. And Eve will be talking about those results in more detail. The functional outcomes project is the first population-based cross-sectional study to analyse the impact of fenestration and anticoagulation with warfarin compared to aspirin on bone density, exercise capacity, cardiac function, and also things like neuroimaging and quality of life. Data collection for that study is still ongoing and is completing at the end of this year, so the end of 2017. And if you were still interested in participating, particularly in Sydney or in Auckland, you're very welcome to still do so. We have initiated a number of new retrospective projects as well, including one on pregnancy in women with a Fontan circulation, which Dr. Dominika Zentner will be talking about today. We are also examining complications, the impact of cardiac reoperations, and arrhythmias in some other retrospective work. I want to just quickly highlight a few of our recent publications. This paper that you see published here was one on involvement of patients and parents in the registry, and this was published recently. It identifies the important role which close connection with the community can bring to our research. We have found that our interactions with the Fontan community through days like today has helped us to develop research which is more relevant and focused, and we hope that our model is an example for other health fields. This paper on the long-term management of children and adults with a Fontan circulation was a survey done of cardiologists here in Australia and New Zealand and how they manage their Fontan patients. This type of work helps us to develop the groundwork so that we can build standardised care for Fontan patients based on best evidence. For example, it helped us to identify what the current practice are with things like anticoagulation, fenestration closure, and pregnancy advice. We have also worked closely with our health economists so that we can show cost implications. This is important because if we want to advocate for the best care for Fontan patients, we need to know the numbers and the dollars. We found that the average hospital cost for Fontan children aged 0 to 18 is $400,000 each. We are also examining the adult hospital costs in a separate project, and through our Medicare linkage, we're looking at the medical and pharmaceutical costs outside the hospital. And you can sign up for Medicare linkage today as well if you haven't done so here in the breaks. Our work on hospital costs have also identified that there are three main non-cardiac costs for children, and some of this might sound familiar to you. These were for respiratory, digestive systems, ear, nose, mouth and throat, including dentistry. All of these small and large research projects are helping us to bring together the puzzle pieces so that we can begin to understand more fully how we can support people with half a heart live a full life. But to do that, we need your ongoing support. We need your support with research. We have some upcoming pharmaceutical trials, which we're very excited about, and those will be happening in the next few months. and we'll be advertising for them, so keep an eye out, and if you'd like to participate, please let us know. We also need your ongoing support with registry funding. Currently, our registry money is running very low. Low funds mean that we might need to trim back on the research projects that we're doing. Today, we would appreciate if you could sign up for our pledge program in the breaks. It is easy, set it up, forget it. Even just a few dollars a month will help the registry survive. And note also that these donations are tax deductible. Our next Fontan Education Day will be in beautiful Adelaide, and Dr. Terry Robertson will be giving us an introduction to the South Australian experience a bit later on. So look out for dates for our next Fontan Education Day on our website and Facebook. And finally, to wrap up, we run this registry because we want to give people with a Fontan circulation the best possible long-term outcomes. We hope you enjoy today's presentations and that you leave with hope in your heart for a better future. Thank you.